Hi, it's me, Vance, owner and operator of the Ventriloquist Vance channel. I'm making this video because I want to talk about something that I'm very happy about, very excited about, and I can't wait until it finally happens. So I was driving home from church one day, and I was listening on the radio about how they were going to open a White Castles restaurant here in Florida for the first time in, 50, 55 years? I don't remember exactly how long, but and it was going to be right here in Kissimmee, where the Old Town resort area is, not too far from Walt Disney World. And when I heard about this, I was really happy to hear about that because, growing up in Michigan, White Castles was one of those fast food restaurants that I had the privilege of enjoying their food as I was growing up. And when I first moved down here and I first realized that they didn't have any White Castles restaurants anywhere in Florida, that was kind of a big disappointment to me. I mean, they've had at least two big boy restaurants down here, but now I don't think those big boy restaurants are open anymore. So, as far as having White Castles food here in Florida, what you had to do was you had to go to the supermarket, you had to go to the frozen section, and you would have to find those like boxes of frozen pre-made White Castles burgers, whether hamburgers or cheeseburgers, and the chicken breast sandwiches. Don't get me started on the chicken breast sandwiches. Now, before I get into that, I do want to let you know that, the White Castles burgers that you get at the supermarket, they're okay, but I don't think they really have that same fresh taste that you could get when you actually go to a White Castles restaurant. So, and let's be honest, it's the same thing with the chicken breast sandwiches, I mean, I have to be honest, the chicken breast sandwiches that you get at the supermarket in the frozen section, they just don't have the same taste, because I remember the taste of a chicken breast sandwich, the first time I've ever tried one of those, like it was yesterday. As a matter of fact, I remember when I first saw the commercial for when they were starting to sell those chicken breast sandwiches, there was basically this group of friends at a bowling alley, and there was this blonde woman who was, bowling, and her friends, who were, for the most part, guys, they were talking about something. I don't remember what all the dialogue was, but one guy came in with a new chicken breast sandwich from White Castle, and the girl just drops the bowling ball, and she just goes for that sandwich. And I remember thinking to myself that I wanted to try it myself, but no cheese on it. I just wanted, just plain. And when I tasted that chicken breast sandwich, it was unlike anything that I've ever tasted before. Unlike any chicken sandwich that I've ever tasted from any fast food restaurant. So with that being said, I was hooked on them. And I remember that in my, I think it was like my pre-adolescent years and my mid-adolescent years, when my mother would drive me home from my dad's workshop, we would stop at a White Castles on the way home. I think this was around the time when Power Rangers was still popular. I have my mind set on Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, and Wild Force. I think this particular time period was Wild Force. But anyway, I just remember that, we would be driving home from my dad's workshop, and we would stop at a White Castles, and basically what we would get is, she would get, I think, 3 to 4 plain cheeseburgers with mustard and ketchup on them, and, I would have 4 chicken breast sandwiches with no cheese on them, with an order of chicken rains, and we would split those Kringle fries. And we had a big orange drink. I don't really know what it was called, but one thing I remember is that it was not always fizzy, unfortunately. But it was good, and it really helped to wash down our White Castle sandwiches. So, yeah. So, trying to get back to here in Florida. When I moved down here to Florida, I found that all we just have is just this cheap imitation called Krystals. And, I'm sorry, but Krystals just doesn't cut it, The chicken breast sandwiches, they don't taste the same as the chicken breast sandwiches that you get at White Castle. I've never had their burgers, and, I have to say this, and I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but the only thing that I don't like about the White Castles burgers is that they've got onions on them. And I know that's supposed to give them their taste, but I hate onions. ironically enough, I do eat Funyuns, which are supposed to be onion flavored, snack foods. So anyway, I can't remember exactly when I first heard the announcement on the radio. It had to have been earlier this year. Oh, wait a minute. No. Was it last year? I think it had to have been somewhere in between September 2019 and January 2020. Somewhere in that time period is when I remember hearing it on the radio. Now that I think about it, I think it was in 2019 because I just remember that they said it was going to open up next year in 2020. Now, I'm not sure when they're going to open up, but I'm going to tell you, my family and I have been talking about this because we are White Castle's fanatics. I do like Burger King. I love getting 2 orders of double Whoppers plain with cheese from Burger King. Yes, I can eat those 2 big burgers. I can eat them. Ask my grandmother. She'll tell you that she cannot understand how I can possibly eat 2 double cheeseburgers. Those big cheeseburgers that, are bigger than my hand. But I can. So basically my family and I were talking about how when they finally start opening, when they're finally open, we're going to start going there. We're going to start getting as much White Castle's food as we possibly can. And I can tell you, I can't wait to eat fresh chicken breast sandwiches and chicken rings from White Castle's again. It'll be, it's going to be one of the most delicious times of my adult life. I probably shouldn't say this, but one of my favorite movies to watch is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, and that's kind of funny coming from a future Anglican priest because there is some, sexual references in that film. Not that I condone such behaviors, but the movie is pretty darn funny. I mean, Harold and Kumar just, going through all of these adventures, just so that they can go to White Castle. But watching the movie, it's pretty darn funny. So there's that. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I'm really excited that White Castles is coming to Florida, for the first time in decades, and that for the first time in a long time, I am going to have White Castle's food fresh from a White Castle's restaurant instead of the frozen section at the supermarket. And I just can't wait to sink my teeth into those chicken breast sandwiches. And I know that my grandmother, as well as my mother, they can't wait to sink their teeth into fresh White Castle's burgers. And I know Grandma's gonna love biting down on those little onions. I hate onions, I'm sorry, but I just don't like onions. So anyway, there's that. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and God bless.